serve.
What up?
I did it.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, my guys. You guys are in the mud box with the TileGuy. We're going to talk about muddy vents. You know, I want to, I've been highlighting some of the vendors. I wanted to highlight some of the guys. You know what I mean? Because we're going to be getting out there. And, that way everybody kind of knows who you guys are, kind of what you're about, things like that.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay, or is it all fucking jacked up?
I hear you just fine, Carlo.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
So what are we talking about? What's first, Mario?
Well, first, we're going to introduce you guys. Gabe is having trouble. You know what I mean? So I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're currently doing, and so on and so forth.
All right. Well, my name is Mike Warner, owner of Mike Warner Tile down here in San Diego, actually pretty much south as you can get of San Diego. Frio Beach, I'm basically next to the border, those of you that aren't familiar with it. And been in the trade full-time since '87. Started earlier than that, helping out the gentleman that taught me tile, and basically lugging mud and working on weekends, picking up a sand pile, sweeping under it, and putting the sand pile back because he wasn't going to let me run the streets and be a bum like I want to do. So, now it's just me. Pretty much do remodels, not too much new construction, but do get it every now and then, and being a helper, and that's it. And
that's cool, man. And what about you, Carlo? Oh man, everybody.
I started in '92 out of Santa Barbara for a hack. He went out of business. I went to work for Tile. And that was that. And I just work for everybody in Ventura, myself, do outside work. And I go back and forth from Fred March, Jarrett Marshall, Jimmy Berg, Lou Lopez, Mike Lindley. I just go back and forth and keep myself busy.
Right. How long you been doing it, Carlo?
September will be 30 years.
30 years. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And how'd you start? Like, who'd you start with? Was it with Mike when you started?
No, I started with a guy named Mike Gordon. And right out of high school, around 91-ish, I got in a bunch of trouble, and then I needed to get a job. So my brother-in-law was a setter on the crew, and I jumped in as his bitch and kept going.
Yeah.
I met Moreno, I think, in 96-ish.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Still doing it.
Still doing it. Yeah. Gabe. You're driving. What's up, Gabe?
I'm driving and I'm trying to figure out my earbuds because I'm having technical difficulties here.
Okay.
It keeps putting Pandora on.
Yeah, I can hear you fine like this, though, bro. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hell yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little rundown of Gabe and the mud trade.
Okay, so I started doing tile with my dad as a teenager in the 80s, and I think I was about 14 when I really started really being his helper full time, and just went from there. I think I went about 3 or 4 years where I stopped doing tile, and then in '92 I joined the union down in San Diego, and been doing it ever since. So started out doing track homes and moved on to commercial, and we mudded everything and tiled everything. So, I mean, we did everything from houses down in El Cajon down in San Diego all the way to I think the biggest job I was on was 280,000 square feet of marble, and that's the I believe it's called the Honda Center now, which is where the Anaheim Pond or the Anaheim Ducks play.
Oh shit, that's a big ass job.
So
Hell yeah.
I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right, Manny.
What's up?
What up, my boy?
Trying to get a spot.
Yeah, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
All right. Huh?
No, it's okay.
So I started in the trade like in '84. I was working at a hard chrome plating shop with my uncle, making like $285 a week. You know, maybe 280. Then I worked with my he was my girlfriend's dad at the time. I worked one day, a Saturday, and he paid me $100. Like in '84, I'm like, damn, you need help? He said, yeah. So freaking in '84, I told my other uncle, hey, I got to go. So in '84, he started making $100 and just started fucking mud and getting in, you know. Like about 18, was just a helper for like a year and a half, and then just kept on helping him, and then slowly got into setting tile and making mud, throwing up the mud, working with him. He was he came out of the union. He was like about 6'3", my guy who taught me, and he would call him to come in when the crews were slacking on jobs. So he was a hustle guy. But I've been studying, been doing it all for like I said, '84, 2 years. I just started on my own, and when I get slow, I would work with him. But he was a union guy who taught me, and it basically was all into residential. All residential and commercial, a little bit of commercial work, but mostly just residential, you know.
Right. Man, I'm the young one here, man. I'm the young buck. I didn't start doing this shit till just about damn near the turn of the century. You know what I mean? I barely got 20 years, a little over 20 years under my belt.
When I started mixing, he would say, "Go grab a fucking stick," and we would just start mixing with fucking follows, you know.
That's crazy, right? That's crazy. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so, all of you guys are going to the mud event, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out, Manny.
We can always put you in Gabe's trunk.
There you go, man.
I'm gonna have to hook up with you, Gabe. Probably me and my son. He wants to
see.
drive. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll hook up with Gabe because again, you're driving up there, no?
Hey, Ralph, if you want to hook up with me and David are driving up in his van. David has a big van.
Yeah, my son wants to go too. He wants to go, so he'll drive up there and I'll maybe meet you guys up there.
There you go.
Yeah, fucking do it, brother.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We're gonna get out there.
Maybe I'll meet up with you, Carlo, going that way.
Yeah. That'd be great. Your caravan.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the way we got to do it, man. We're gonna get out there, and this mud event. I know Manny and Gabe, you went, and Mike, you went, but Carlo and Manny, you guys, when we went out to Idaho, man, there was a lot of guys. In Mud's past, it was a lot of Mud guys and a few guys that didn't from Facebook. This time, like last time, it was the opposite. Most of the guys at the event were there to learn to Mud. There weren't as many wasn't like a lot of us Mud guys there, and it'll be probably like that again. So I wanted to get it out there and show which guys are the Mud guys. So that the guys going that want to learn, they probably already know who you guys are. You know what I mean? But this way, I kind of get it out there, and that way, people that are going to the event know, that these are the guys. This is the Scratch and Brown crew. You know what I mean? And you know, we'll kind of get you guys out there so people are able to ask you guys some questions or,
I
or
think
just want to hook up with you guys.
I think everyone coming that shows up should have a fucking name tag, bro. There's so many people on these pages. I get a little lost with them, and it would help.
Yeah,
you'd be
that's
Half the
surprised,
problem
Carlo.
is Cover Boy there always has a name for everybody.
He
yeah,
does. He does.
but then we'll get. I like it like without the name tags because name tags to me are a little non-personal. You know what I mean? I get that like what you're wearing right now. My name is Mud. You know what I mean? We all have the same name. That way you got to go up to a guy, shake his hand, ask him his name. Things like that. I think that it makes the introductions, a lot on a more personal level.
Okay, yeah,
You know what I'm
I get
saying?
that.
Yeah, and I yeah, that's important. It's important. Because I think like us, it's a little different with us than it is around the rest of the country. You know what I mean? I tell guys this is kind of like a brotherhood, man. You know what I mean? We all bleed the same blood and do the same. We have the same troubles coming in and every day. You know what I mean? Like we're not using a multitude of different systems. You know what I mean? Yeah, we do it different up here up north and down south. It's the same thing, man. Paper, wire, mud. You know what I mean?
Dude,
And
there's so many freaking systems out there. I'm just, with the old, I'm just like with the old system, just fucking paper, wire, mud, fucking nail it, fucking all this gluing, and I'm still getting used to it, but
it's
it's
crazy,
a
right?
lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, even this mud page, I've been like on social media for the last like maybe 2 years, and that mud, getting into mud, just kind of like rejuvenates the mud guys, I think, to
Oh yeah.
just that it gives us like, because when you're in the trade for so long, you're like, oh, it's mud. It's just mud. To me, it's just fucking mud. But it's a fucking goddamn gold mine.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah,
you don't
absolutely.
think that much of it, but I mean, you can just charge. You can just mud it and charge them fucking 12, 1500 quick mud. And that's it.
Now, all you guys on here, when you scratch and brown, right?
I scratch them brown.
Right.
I line wire, and I don't think any of you guys really line wire too.
No, I don't. I
mean,
have,
I
but
really,
Yeah,
I go
it
way
too.
back.
We line it.
Do
Me and
you?
Michael line it.
I find I don't need to.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah.
him
Now
playing the
that's
guitar. He's going ding, 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 ding.
yep.
Play the
Yeah,
piano.
that's something that even me, like you say, we're jumping on these web pages. We scratch and brown in the commercial environments. You know what I mean? And that was it. But I'll admit that the first time I seen Mike, getting his wire and stringing it across. I mean, I've done that before. And you pull it tight, and name it this and that. But when he used the third nail, to grab that wire and cinch it taut like that, I was like, whoa! It's crazy. Like even it's like you do mud for 20 years, and then you jump on Facebook and you see like what all you guys are doing. And it's crazy. I still jump on the mud, and I feel like I learned something new probably almost every time I jump on there. Seeing guys do different methods for just roughing in the showers, getting them ready for mud.
Hey,
It,
that
it,
little trick. What's his name? Oh, the little guy working with Taylor, and he did that little trick of tapping down the tile for the string line.
oh, Jose?
Yeah,
Jose?
Jose.
Yeah.
When he was doing that, I had flashbacks of my fucking teacher showing me doing it on the big floor, fucking all the way around. It was a trip. Because,
Yeah.
just seeing it over again and him showing me, it was like my fucking my sensei doing this, like back 20, 30 years, 20 years, 30 years ago. I was like, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we
Man.
used to do it with the
Yeah,
water level. Make the
Yeah.
water level lines on the wall.
Little
And
food
then set your dots
coloring
to
and a
water
water
level.
level. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That was
Hit
a
every
trip.
corner,
That was
put
a
a
trip.
line on your level, and tap it down
Yeah.
to it.
That was
That's the
good.
way I
Yeah.
was taught.
right.
That's
That's the
And
most
they're cheap
accurate
too.
level you can get.
2x2 welded wire. Pull it up just a little
Yep.
bit with a metal rake. Get that embedded.
Yeah, get the rake and pull it up a little bit.
Hey,
And,
I mean,
hey, Gabe is back, and yeah, I mean that's crazy. I
fucking
mean, you guys,
bandit. The bandit.
30 plus years, all of you guys, man. That's something that's something to be proud of, man. That's something that I noticed when I very first jumped on these pages, man, and I'm going to like some of the different groups. The guys start going, "Oh man, I've been doing this for 30 years," and then instantaneously, guys, "Oh, 30 years," this and that. And I'm like, "Why are you clowning on this guy, man? That motherfucker's been tiling since some of them before you were fucking born. Like, show some fucking respect, man. Like, these guys know more about this trade, or they forgot more about this trade than most of you will ever know. You know what I mean? Take the time to listen to these guys. You know what I'm saying? That all of you guys. You know what I mean? Like some of you, like you're saying, like Gabe. You know, that's been doing this for like since the early '80s. Surviving recessions and doing this and doing that, and you guys are still in it. You know what I mean? Still in it, doing the same way you were taught. These 30 plus years ago, and you've been through all the changes in materials. All the way up from these sizes to the big sizes now, and you guys haven't had to change much with your method of installation. And I think that's really cool. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that even guys like me that have been doing this for 20 years, we start to feel like we know everything. In that, ain't nobody gonna tell us something new because we got it down. But that's not true, man. That's not true. Like I have a lot of respect for you guys that, I'm already done, bro. I'm in the office. You know what I mean? I'm in the office now.
Which is great.
And
That's great.
There's always something to learn on these pages.
Yeah.
As soon as you think you know everything, you see someone do something, and it can be simple, smallest little thing, but it can change your daily routine on what you do tremendously. And it's as soon as you turn your mind off to what other people are doing, you've fallen behind. And then I don't care if it's a new product or for whatever. Like I'm going from scratch and brown, which I still do, floating everything, but I've been incorporating more topical into my program and eliminating a pan and using more topical all the way around. Just it's an easy upcharge. It's easier. You get a better product warranty, added on to what you're already doing. So for me, that's my biggest change that I've got right now.
For me, I'm done using Hardy Backer. I'm gonna start fucking self-leveling every fucking thing now.
Dude, it's so much easier, isn't it? And you can get a better price out of it and get a better product at the end of it.
I got 240 feet coming up, and I'm a little worried. It's not much for you guys, but I've never done that much, so I'm just gonna get a third guy and do it.
Two guys can do it. I mean, I've talked with Gabe before. He's helped me out a lot. And
have you seen my guy though?
Yeah, that's self-leveling. That's one thing I'm trying to get into is like that slew, man. Because if the floors are flat, man, it is so much fucking easier. But when you put in a Hardy Backer, you gotta fucking
and that slew hole, you snap a line,
make it flat.
Snap a line on that slew, it fucking sticks all nice. It's flat, it's perfect, dude.
And just smear and go, man. Fuck.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier, Ralph, man.
I know, because all this picking it up and putting it back down, picking it, all this bullshit. Fuck that.
I butchered a floor or two in my time with the SLU, but that's how you learn.
That's how you learn to use it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and until you end up at something like an Ardex Academy or some other type of training where you can get clued in, or reach out to a rep, reach out to somebody that has done it. We're all here to help. Like to think we all are anyhow.
Yeah. For us, I went to the training and things like that, and I'd seen it done, and I don't know why it was something I was apprehensive about. You know what I mean? Like say Carlo, little small floors here and there, not a big deal, but we did an 800-foot floor, and it was all shot to shit. So I was like, fuck, we gotta level this thing, man. And Kristen Blanchard, he came down to Fresno, and he helped us mix up our leveler and kind of get it. And he showed some of my guys kind of what to do. But I got some solid guys on my crew. They're real sharp guys, man. And 15, 20 minutes working with it, and they were off to the races, and they did that whole 800 feet. And there was a spot that we had to grind. You know what I mean? because we kind of bubbled up in a little bit where the two connected, but it really wasn't bad. You know what I mean? And that floor was pissed when we were done. And now, like you said, we just buy, not a whole pallet's worth, but we buy like 50, 60 bags at a time to have. Well, I guess that is a whole pallet's worth to have in the shop for the guys to take out. Like you said, they got to throw down a little 2x2 floor real quick in a small bathroom. They use that primer and a leveler, and I think like some of these levelers now, you can set tile like in 2-3 hours.
That's
You
what
know
I
what
was
I
gonna
mean? So
ask
look
you.
up.
That's what I was gonna say. As soon as you put that out, like you can set the same day. On
Hours
some?
Some
later,
of them.
yes.
It depends on the actual product that you use. Every one is different. Every manufacturer is different. So,
Like for
look
floor,
look at the product.
bathroom floors.
Yeah, well, it depends on your substrate. If you're going over wood, gypsum, concrete, who knows what you're going over? Just get the one that best fits your need. Some of them are
Now,
more expensive than others, but
Yeah.
I don't know if
it's
you
a
guys
time saver.
you guys see that post where I demoed my floor. I did a herringbone,
Yeah.
black and white herringbone, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
So I had to demo that, and it had fucking the tile, 253 gold, the wires, the mat, and then slew under it, and I had to chisel it. My fucking jackhammer didn't fucking fuck up that slew at all, dude. And I have dry packed that floor, I would have been re-dry packing that floor again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I wanted to
that
flip
shit
the
is
floor,
tough.
but it was gnarly.
Back in the day, we used to dry pack everything, but
Yeah,
now
and I wanted to.
there isn't room a lot of times. At least for me, I don't have room because I'm
Here, I
more in
very
the
rarely.
remodel than new construction. So to get something that I can have the elevation to mud it's hit and miss for me. It's not very often.
And the slew is so much cleaner and easier too, man.
It is. I mean, just read it. Make sure you mix with the water directions because that's
Yeah.
where I got. That's where I got my most trouble. On my worst one is I overwatered from one K22F one time. I overwatered, put an extra quart each bag, and it made a hell of a difference, man. It was nice to spread, but it wasn't drying.
Right.
So,
Did it ever dry?
Yeah,
You didn't even
it took an extra day, but it dried.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know.
Right.
Gotta get the water reader fucking.
Yeah, so just like I say, read the directions on the water ratio.
Well, I'm sure most of you guys, like me, I have all my reps' phone numbers, and I'll call up, especially John DeSena. I bug that guy almost every fucking day with questions, and he answers his phone or gets right back to me, and he'll walk me through it and talking this. The reps are out there.
Yeah.
For me, it's Corley.
John Corley too.
Shit out of Corley,
John Corley,
man.
yeah, that's how I call.
I can't believe he still answers the phone with half the nonsense I bug him with.
This is the question.
I mean, they're here for us, man, and like especially like we said with John Corley, he's old school, man. He's a mud guy. You know what I mean? He's been doing it. He did it for a long time before he dropped out there. So I mean, that is it's an excellent resource. And I reach out to John DeSena all the time too. He spent a lot of time at Bedrosian. You know what I mean? So he knows all about like natural stones and this and that, and a lot of product information on top of having the knowledge of all the systems. So like you said, and that's why I've always like been like real big on getting as many vendors to the mud event as possible. You know what I mean? Because some of these guys, these system guys, they're used to dealing with reps, right? I was doing this for 20 years before I even knew there was a rep that you could contact and reach out to for shit like this. You know what I mean? Like Terry Hall, he was the first rep I really started like reaching out to. You know what I mean? Because I had an issue with 8+9 and how to use it and stuff like that. So once I met Terry, I was like, oh man, it's crazy. Like he does, like they do. They answer the phone, they do this, they do that. Like I was gonna say, with these levelers, it is really important because like I heard you guys talking about, the different manufacturers, different levelers. Like I prefer to use Ardex levelers. You know what I mean? So there's like fucking 28 different levelers. You know what I mean? I'm like, why don't you guys just have like level? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need 28 different levelers? You know what I mean? But they all have, like you say, different performance ratings for different applications for this and that. Like the one we kind of like a lot is that I think what is it? TL 1400. You know what I mean? It's a fast drying leveler for use of a concrete. So you use like a primer, and it fires off real fast, and then you put that shit down, and basically as soon as it's hard enough for you to walk on it, it's game time. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we'll come in the morning because we do a lot of track, a lot of production work, and these guys will come in the morning and be like, "Oh, this floor's fucked." You know what I mean? Or we're using a small format tile, so we got to do a little lift. We're doing a lot of these curb. They're not curbless, but they're recessed showers. They go straight in and then down. You know what I'm saying? So when you're putting your waterproofer up over the thing, you get that buildup right at the entry of the shower. And before, what we were doing was grinding the concrete to give it a little slope at the end, right at the end of the shower, and then waterproof that. That way, when we ran the tile, you get that little drop right there where they're going to put the glass. Now, because we're having such good luck with these levelers, we just, throw it, do a little 1/4 inch lift on the rest of the floor. Don't have to grind nothing. You know what I mean? Waterproof down into it, and boom, you're done.
I usually try to attach a float stick. I try to attach a float stick right there at the entry to that and use that as my guide to go work backwards.
Right, and level off of that out.
Exactly.
I like the Latticrete NXT Plus is what I've been using. I'm very happy with it. I need to get the right tools. I've used my fucking garden rake, but it works.
I just get it done, bro.
I don't think I've seen a garden rake in any of the academies I've been to.
What's that?
I had a brand new one too. So
what's the main one? What's Arctic's? What V1000 is their regular slew, like their general one?
No,
that's for like the tile side.
To my knowledge, what I understand from talking with Corley, my rep,
V1000,
the TL1000, the TL2000, all that. The T basically goes for tile. The V, which is what I think you deal with DeSoto like I do. They sell a lot of the V for the VCT, vinyl, etc. So there's a different compression, or I don't know, when that shit dries, the strength of it.
Yeah.
As far as what it'll hold up weight wise sooner.
Right.
Is what
exactly.
All those V's and T's and everything else.
Oh, right. See, I just learned that today, right now. So the T1000 is for tile, and the V is for the vinyl floors and what have you.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, there is a bit of a price difference.
Okay.
There is a bit of a price difference. The V's are probably about $1 or $2 more a bag. Close, but still, if you're pouring a large thing, it adds up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right, and then you go through. Then they also have the K series, and that's like I believe like
that's
their
for gypsum.
original. Right. Because they're very first.
Also, that's for on top of gypsum.
Yeah, I start a condo tomorrow, 4th floor condo, and I'm going to be using the K22F just because it's available and designed for gypsum. Like I say, I could order the tile end of it, but it's going to take me a week, and I leave for mud next week, so I'm on a time crunch to get this one done.
Right, so you're going to get it done, right?
Yeah,
I hear you. You know what I mean? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, K15, that was the first leveler, period. Like, there wasn't, like, Ardex invented self-leveling cement, and K15, they still sell it. It was like, my next door neighbor went to Ardex Academy or I don't know if they called it then, but he went to Aliquippa in the 70s. I think it was like 77 or 78, and he got certified in using Ardex leveler, the K15 back then. So that's all that guy does ever since then. He just levels floors. Big old huge. He's got a big old fucking pump that he has on the back of his truck. You know what I mean? To pump in leveler.
That's tight.
Yeah,
that's tight.
Yeah, I guess Ardex or somebody. They bring in the trucks, bro. Like these companies got heavy ass equipment to be able to feed the leveler into those pumps. You know, because he does jobs, man. They're leveling like 10, 15, 20,000 feet in a day.
Yeah.
You know, so like leveling alone, man, that's a fucking crazy business. I was talking to Lance the other day, and he had this big old fucking truckload of shit leaving his shop. I was like, what the fuck, man? You're normally taking truckloads in. And he goes, oh, yeah, I got a level job, you know what I mean, I'm sending out to. And I was like, fuck, bro, that's like 14 fucking pallets on that truck you're sending out. And he goes, yeah, that's like a middle of the road size level job. And I was like,
Damn.
fuck. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, I'd like to get in on something like that. That's fucking paper right there. You know,
It's a good idea.
15 one day.
I want to do that here in Ventura. Originally, I want to do a company that just floats for people. Float a shower
Right.
complete for homeowners. So they can just go in there and stick them on themselves, and you can level the floors for them too. Fuck it. Put the tile
that's
saw away,
funny.
no more fucking thin set.
That's funny you say that. The guys that taught me tile, all the old tile cowboys from down here, that's all they want to do. They don't want to set. They just want to prep. They just want to rough in, scratch, and float, and end it there.
Yeah.
I never understood that. I always thought it was easier as a helper. Like, dude, I'll run cuts any day, but carrying buckets of mud up flights of stairs, man, it was just no. But now I get it. It's nicer. I'd rather float all day long than install tile.
Right.
I tried forever to hire somebody just to install. I tried for a year to hire somebody just to install tile, and I even would go back and grout it. Couldn't find nobody. Still can't.
Yeah.
When you mud, it's more of a fucking meditation. It's not even like work. It feels like with tile, you gotta think, you gotta line it up, with floating, it's just like second nature most, because tile, everything's different. I mean, everything's supposed to be the same, just the layouts and whatever the tile material is. But on mud, it's like second nature. So if I can just see doing all that all day, just like freaking, that's fucking awesome.
I feel more rewarded after a day of mudding. When I stand back and take the pictures I post and look at it, I beat myself up that if it's like clean enough, if it's square enough, if it's plumb enough.
You got a little twist in your shoulder when you're walking out of the bathroom. You got a little more twist on that one.
I like watching you guys float, man. I like watching you guys float. You know what I mean? I like everybody's got their own like little quirks. The way they move their body and the way they do this and the way you pick the mud up. Like my favorite one is Matt Taylor. Like if you guys ever watch his videos, man, when he's scratching mud, he shakes his butt. You know what I mean? I've been floating with that dude since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like it don't matter. You can call him out on it. He'll try not to do it, but man, he gets in there and starts rodding it off, and
it starts.
I think the funniest mud video for me was Moreno when he was dancing to the Bee Gees while he was floating.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! I think I had a cramp. I was laughing so hard.
Oh man,
that guy's too
much. I've had this conversation with homies before, with the crews on the other side, man. I'm like, man, I mean, you guys just don't understand, dude. Like, like there's times like Matt right now, they got Flack and Jose, and over there, and they're floating this big old floor, and then they go over to Antonio's for lunch, and pick it with Antonio, and go back over there and float. I say, man, it's like it's work, but at the same time, it's like that's our life. You know what I mean? Like guys, like how do you go to mud and have fun? And fucking Joe Lima wakes up and gets drunk all night and then gets up at 7, and you guys start chopping mud and fucking drinking beers and throwing it, because that's our life, bro. That's our life. You know what I mean? Like we do this shit. Like we do like little mud trainings at the shop. Let the helpers float and shit like that. And Antonio will barbecue and we'll fucking drink beer. We'll laugh at the helpers trying to float a shower. You know what I mean? But that's like, it's like you wake up in the morning, you float. Doesn't matter if it's the morning, in the afternoon, anytime. You get a couple of us together and you fucking chop a batch of mud and we're having a blast. You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, that's why I tell people, like, it's like a brotherhood. It's almost like a religion. You know what I mean? Like we belong to the Church of Mud. You know what I mean? And it's not hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think about it all the time. I tell my wife, man, I wish I could get out of doing anything that I'm doing now and, was rich to where I could just like go to the city, all the cities with you guys and float a shower with you. You know what I mean? Go float a shower with Manny. Go float a shower with Carlo. Go float a shower with Mike. You know what I mean? Bounce around and be like, man, I'm all over the place. Like that to me, that would be the funnest thing ever. You know what I mean? And like other people would want to be on vacation doing this and doing that. And yeah, I want to do all that, smoke weed, drink beer, have fun. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel like, when you're in that, when you chop that batch and you're watching Carlo get down, you know what I mean? That's like it's not like normal work. Like you're watching something that Carlos poured 30 years into perfecting. You know what I mean? It's not a trade, it's a craft. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this is yeah, it's not
When I first started, my first shower I had to float for a couple years after I learned how to float. Every day before I'd float, I was stressing. Even if it's a tub, like fuck, tomorrow I gotta float that fucking shower. Fuck. Now
Because
I'm floating a shower
that
maybe
shit's
maybe
permanent.
3
You
hours.
didn't want to mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had walls fall back in the day, whether it be green scratch or too much mud.
If you ain't
And you hear it,
had
it's
mud
like,
fall on you after you rotted it, you haven't
yeah,
lived yet.
yeah. So I used to stress, and now a tub's maybe a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe to float a tub,
right.
So now it's just like I don't. It's one of those things you don't sweat anymore. You get ceilings and maybe barrel ceilings and shit take a little more work, but it's still kind of fun.
It's all
Yeah,
fun and challenge,
absolutely.
man.
It
The
is.
challenge for me,
Absolutely.
the challenge of it is I like it the most. It's like I
Yeah,
say, it's more floating and knowing that I hit the layout points with the story pole is more challenging and more rewarding to me than actually installing it. Installing it's like
yeah,
the reassurance you did it right, but
That's the easy part.
Yeah.
if you've mudded it correct, it is.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Like
Right.
anything, if you
Yeah.
prep correct, it's right. I don't care what system it is.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, you're screaming at that helper, give me 10 at 3 inches. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
and
Yeah, you
you
make
get
it look.
one at 3, 1 at 2 and 7/8, 1 at 3 1/4, and of
yeah,
course
fuck that,
it's the
dude.
saw's fault. It's never their fault. It's always the saw's fault. Gauge
Uh,
must have moved,
oh,
and
try
then I
working with my
corrected
guy.
it.
Try my guy. Fucking pulling my hair and shit, bro. Jesus Christ. Dude mixed a bag of thin set my fat mud one day. Like, what the fuck is this, bro? The bag is
Hey,
clearly differently marked. You've been with me almost 5 years
Right,
off and on.
right.
hey,
It's obviously not that
no
much.
lie. When I started out, I think it was probably about like 91, 92. We used to do all the home fed banks. I don't know if you guys remember them. Most of them are chases now, with all the brick
Okay.
ones. They're all brick. We would
Yeah,
go
yeah,
in
yeah,
at
yeah.
night. We would go in at night, and we would either have to put 15-pound felt, 30-pound felt with mastic for the slip sheet, set tile on top of that, and or we would have to float the floors. The one time we got to float, the boss tells me, dude, we need you inside. We need you organizing all these new helpers. Go over how to help, because I was the only guy he trusted the mixer at the time. So I go over, we get a new guy. We had a thing called Job Corps, where it used to be like hands-on training, where they would teach kids and I guess second chance people, out of prison, a trade, and they'd make money with their hands. So I go out, I show this guy how to run the mixer. Okay, it's 24 to a freaking half a bag. Get it done. Show him we got all our marks, getting water out of 55-gallon drum. He forgot to put the cement in. And about probably, we went for about an hour and a half. And finally, one guy goes, this stuff isn't packing right. It's just not right. And everybody's going, boss is yelling at us. And sure as shit, go outside. He ain't even cut any more bags than I cut when I was out there. So we had to pull it all up and start over.
Oh,
We were doing a school in Santa Barbara, and I told one of the guys, go mix up a 40 batch, a dry pack. A Ukrainian guy. And he comes back and he used the fucking the yellow sand for packing gas lines. But he mixed it up and it was wrong. And their English wasn't that good. I have all kinds of stories with the Ukrainians,
Oh
with Michael
man.
Reno. We've fucking been through a lot together.
Oh man, I used to get all fucked up, you know what I mean? Surprise, surprise, when I was young, and I didn't want to miss work, you know what I mean? But I knew like I'm gonna fucking black out, you know what I mean? So I fucking get all fucked up partying at night and shit like that, and I go park my car right in front of the shop gate. Boom, black out. And all these motherfuckers, and these motherfuckers be showing up. We're like, Mario, wake up and get your fucking car out of the way, And man, it's this one time, dude, I mixed up a batch, and that shit was straight fucking soup. You know what I mean? And my guy was so fucking pissed, and he was getting that shit, and he just banging it against the wall, firing it all over the ceiling, all over. I mean, he was just fucking launching that fucking shit. You know what I mean? And then he gets out of the tub, after he fucking made this huge mess. He's like, clean all this fucking shit up, get that
Yep.
fucking mud out of here, and remix that fucking shit. Hurry up, we got fucking shit to do. I'm fucking cleaning up and trying to get all this shit out of there. The other guys are finishing floating and all this shit. And I was, oh man, what a miserable fucking day, man. God damn it.
But that guy would probably give you the shirt off his back if you asked him to, wouldn't he?
Fuck yeah. And I guarantee you I never fucked a batch of mud up ever again.
It's just to the point. It's to the point where my guy will come back and we're floating, and he comes back empty-handed. I know he's gonna say, "I fucked up." He either put two. It's like the last 2 bags, too much water, or he put a bag of thin set in there. So if he comes back empty-handed, I'm like, "What the fuck now, bro?" Well, I did this. I'm like, dude, I was daydreaming. It was like, dude.
And
Like
it's
I tell him,
always the last batch, always.
and I'm in Santa Rosa Valley. Fucking have to drive 30 minutes to town.
Wet, not wet.
So I tell him the green bags for me, deck my PMP are dry pack. So dry pack is like on the ground, the green like the grass. Blue is on the walls, blue is like on the sky. And finally he learned that. So the blue bags are wet, the green is to the ground. And we'll see next week on a floater shower.
Yeah, he'll forget.
T-well.
Hey, speaking of floating, Carlo, you're teaching that class or the class, right? When you go to Mud,
I'm helping those guys, yeah.
you gonna do like you gonna teach those guys about plumb scratching and stuff like that, or
I'm gonna
how's that gonna work out?
We're gonna do a pre-pitch. I'm gonna do a chloraloy. We're gonna go paper wire off the studs and a scratch and brown. I assume the modules will be plumb. We'll see there. I think there could be small modules, right, Mario?
Yeah, we're hopefully gonna have smaller modules. I mean, this is a 1-day operation. I mean, and the guys will have plenty of time for the next 2 days to actually be throwing mud. So like what Carlos saying, like we're gonna try. We only got 8 hours. You know what I mean? So we're really gonna try to focus on good prep work. You know what I mean?
We can get like a whole little module, get the curb, get the pan, get the walls floated, complete right for tile, for like a small mock-up example.
Right. And then other than that, you know what I mean, we'll focus on, like paper. I don't know about you guys, but I've been to quite a few CTIs and something I hear from guys a lot is that the applying, putting the paper on a CTI module is probably one of the more difficult things these guys go through. I mean, it sounds crazy because
you gotta keep it taut.
We've been working with paper forever, and I mean, just you even see the guys just the way they handle the paper. You know what I mean? You already know that. Jesus Christ, you ever wrapped a present before? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's things like that. How to cut the wire. You know what I mean? How to get the paper on the wire on the wall top. You know what I mean? How to overlap it properly. There's a lot of little things about the prep work that guys really genuinely don't have any idea about. And it's things that, it's little things like that we take for granted. You know what I mean? The floating the mud part and getting it on the wall, that's mechanics. But like, we all know, man, if you prep a shower like dog shit, it's gonna fucking suck to float that thing. You know what I mean?
Preps everything. Just like everything else.
What kind of wire are you guys gonna work over? Are you working over?
We're using Diamond Lab.
Probably Diamond Lab. Yeah, probably expanded metal lab because I don't imagine that anybody outside of Northern California really uses stucco netting or chicken wire or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that's something that's kind of exclusive to our area.
We're just hoping nobody gets cut with it, because we're gonna have them cut it.
Yeah,
they're getting cut. They ain't done nothing right.
Well, if you cut it correctly, you can avoid the wire.
Get some blisters real quick on their thumb.
Yeah.
Dude, you just look at it and you bleed. Let's be honest. You bleed.
Sometimes I'll be hanging wire with my guy.
So you guys all spent time in the tracks. You know what I mean? Like, what was the process for a scratch and brown shower in the tracks? Because like up here in where I'm from and farther north from here, it was like you showed up to the job and it's papered and wired. You know what I mean? So you floated and you tiled complete, right? And then, most of us would finish early. So you went to the next house and you roughed the shower in for the following day. You know what I'm saying? And then we catch our inspections first thing in the morning. And then again, you're back off to the races. When you guys were doing, when you guys were doing scratch and brown down there, like, you know, what was the process? Like, you know, like over here, like
I've
it
never
was
done
like
track.
almost like, no.
I've never done track work.
We
I did
did,
some production, I guess, but not track.
yeah, we did when I first started. We did productions like little tracks, but they were already scratched from the freaking
From the
Plasters,
plasters.
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Ah, okay. All right. All right.
already scratched, and then they
For
were so after like the 4 years, 3 years of that, we got into where it was just we 2x4s, and we had to scratch and brown and stuff, you know.
see
But
where I
Okay.
came from, I was from a bigger commercial company who we did commercial, we did track, we did oh man, we did like giant buildings, veneers, and lobbies, bathrooms, you name it. But when we do the tracks, our superintendent or the guy running the job that did paperwork, he would just work it out with the plasters, and we'd
yeah,
cut them checks. We would rough in. You know, we would spend a week as helpers roughing the stuff in. You know, with our Jiffy Seal over the tub. You know, flashing the tub, going down the legs, doing all that, and then we would just cut the plaster as a check as a company at the end of the week. Those guys, when they were doing their thing outside with their hose, they would just come in, blast
hose,
out
Mhm.
whatever we had, you know, and
Okay.
we would drop behind them, clean it up, and do all that. But they would do that, and then we had the crews behind us, days behind us, if you will. They'd be required. I think, God, it's been 20 plus years at least. They were required to get a minimum of 2 tubs a day float and set. If you could get 3, that was preferable, but no less than 2, you
Right.
know. And
What
and
is
that
People
four
were
a
that
floater?
fucking
get 3 or 4.
well, that included grouting for the same. If you wanted your money on Friday, that shit was grouted. Because whatever you were done
right.
with on Thursday, your check came Friday from what you had up to that point. So we
Right.
had to be complete on that, and that included caulking and the whole 9 yards,
Wow.
you know. And I mean that
Right.
was we didn't do much
Right.
of it, but we did enough of it to feel the pain, you know.
Right.
Now when I'm at
Right.
Pyramid, we'll do college, so we'll do 44 fucking units, 10,000 feet of floor, whatever, float floors. So we'll plan it so we can scratch one day, and then rough in another couple, and then scratch that. So your scratch isn't drying too long before you get back to it. Because it dries too long, you eat
Right.
shit. That's why I put a big circle around my scratches, so I know which unit was mine. You know, that was like my trademark. So I don't want to be scratching off someone else's. I don't want to be brown off someone else's scratch because I like to make my scratch nice and pretty and even plumb it up if I have to.
Back
Right.
in those days,
Right.
man, you get a lot of cutthroat guys that would look to set up over the stuff you done, get started already, and you show up a half hour late or whatever, and they're already in the mid, you
Yep.
know, they're pretty much done. You know, sticks are getting pulled on to the next one. You know, so there was a lot of ill feelings when you'd get a bunch of hired guns coming in because it was
Right.
all about the almighty dollar, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all about production. Get this shit done and get paid. Yeah,
It was.
I don't get it.
I remember my teacher always told me it was a more competitive. It was like fucking, you know, they had
It,
animosity to people and shit.
it
You know,
wasn't like today where people
yeah,
are networking and helping out. Back then, it was screw that guy, man. It's all about me.
Fuck him.
yeah,
Yeah, fuck him. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I remember, man, we used to be in the track, you know, and I did a lot of, you know, I started out doing the tubs. I moved into the masters, and you know, the masters had had the shower, and I remember this track we were doing for a long time. We always did their houses. They had you know, the ultra tub that came out in the middle of the wall and had the two vanties that tied into it. You know what I mean? So I started getting that, you know what I mean? And once I got good at that, I got moved to the kitchen. You know what I mean? So I was always used to at some point finishing 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, you know what I mean? And you know, you didn't stop to help the next guy, you know, like you're saying, you know what I mean? It's like you fucking finish at 1:30, you roll that bitch up, you know what I mean? Helper stays behind to float to rough in another shower and vamonos, you know what I mean? Or you just stayed there and drank and laughed at all the other assholes that are struggling till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, and once I moved to the kitchen though, you know, that was a big motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, 3 batches of mud to get a kitchen done, you know, countertops, and we had these big, you know, radius islands with a raised bar and, you know, fucking, you know, with the back perimeter and full back. It was huge. you know, and I turned into the guy being there till like 3, you know, right to the buzzer, man. And I used to be fucking pissed, man. I'd be like, fuck, man. You guys, you know, these guys have been off. You know, I'm looking out in the fucking parking lot and they're fucking drinking and hanging out on the street, man. I'm fucking, you know, putting VCAP on. It's fucking 2:30 and I'm fucking running my VCAP. You know what I mean? But you know, that's like you said, that's the way it was, man. You know, you want to get paid, you're gonna get done, and these motherfuckers had no love whatsoever, man. You know, you're fucking on your own.
Don't
Yeah,
date
I'd get
yourself,
yelled
Mario.
at. I'd
VCAP.
get cussed out.
A lot of people don't know what VCAP is, insides and outs and AKs and stuff. They don't know.
Oh yeah, AUs. You know what I mean?
Hey, you.
Yeah,
Well, all these guys can't even
AUs.
float a countertop. You know, even float
You know,
countertops. You know,
fucking,
they have no
yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
Nope.
flowing countertops was a shit. That's some good shit. A lot of kitchen.
I did
Oh,
2.
yeah.
I did 2 last year. Float 2. I think it was last
did,
year I
that's
did 2.
Yeah, I
I haven't done
fucking
one in fucking shit over 15 years, man. It's been,
yeah.
man,
It's been a long time, right?
I think if I do come across one and do it, I'll probably take all day just to make it last.
You know, I like to see him, man. I like to see him. You know, I like running into these old track houses. You know what I mean? And you go look at the menu.
Hey,
What up? We're talking about horse teeth.
you gotta relax now. You made it home.
Those things suck. Oh
Right?
my God, I
Right?
hated those.
Fucking horse teeth.
Dude,
Yeah, I remember the box coming through.
Dude, you spend hours cutting all those, throw them in a freaking cardboard box, set them next to the counter so they could just grab them and start setting them.
You
Down
gotta
into the
stone 'em,
margin
too.
trowel. Oh yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
gotta
Yeah,
stone 'em.
stone.
You gotta
God,
stone 'em.
I used
Oh, yeah.
to taper mine. I used to little pie cut a little bit so they.
Just-
Oh yeah,
just
absolutely.
you cut that first one and hold it there and just flip it.
Yep. Because what I used to do is I get a piece of 6x6, and I cut it 1 inch by 1 inch and 1/8. You know what I mean? I'd set it against the gauge. You know what I mean? Like you said, cut it, flip, cut it, flip, cut it, flip, cut it, flip. God, what a fucking bitch that was, man. You know?
But what was
And you
that?
run your,
Were you doing it in K101, P100?
fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Those were the colors back then. You know, K101, that colored white, and then fucking 0400, the texture. You know what I mean? The
Don't
400 tile.
Good
The
old
scallop
Mayan white.
surface.
Hey, real quick, I'm standing here with Toby Lopez from Cali Tile Brigade. Say hi.
What up?
Toby?
What's up, Toby?
Yeah.
You're on mud. So, anyways, all right. So I gotta let you guys go because we gotta mud this floor. You know, unlike you guys, some of us gotta work late into the night.
Here
So
we go.
we're behind schedule trying to get this shower done. So I went from one job to another. We're gonna float this thing and call it a day. I'll check in with you guys later. Have a good one.
I'm glad I
too,
don't
get
work
it
with
done.
you, man.
Get it done.
Yep.
Pack
See ya.
Pack it.
Oh yeah. Later.
All right.
See you again. So
Yeah,
let me ask you guys here, since you know 3, and I'm sure people will chime in. What do you do in your corners, Carlo? Are you folding your wire or are you cutting your wire?
I cut my wire every time.
I cut mine every time too.
Any outside corners get
I was
wrapped.
folding it. I was folding it. Not till like the last three years. I just started cutting it. But I was
No, like that's required in Fresno,
Yeah.
Madera. I mean, up in the Bay Area, I heard that like areas like in some of the areas in the Bay Area are moving away from it, but like Sacramento, like it is required. Wrap the corner, both corners, offset your nails, nail on both sides of the corners every 6 inches. You try to cut your wire, and it's a guaranteed fail.
The only wire I cut my corners in is I'm using K-Lath. Then I have to wrap my corners to get the continuous water paper. And I hate K-Lath.
I mean,
so there's that.
Yeah, paper's continuous, but I'm just curious, as I know we've had discussions before about cutting and wrapping, and I've seen numerous posts about it. You know.
Yeah, wrapping the wrapping.
If you're gonna cut it, you have to caulk it.
Well, you don't caulk yours anyways, or?
Yeah.
No, we hard grout everything.
I'm hard grout
Oh,
too.
yeah, really?
I'll caulk to the tub and I'll caulk to a countertop. And that's about
I
it.
don't caulk them all, just some certain ones.
See, I do work here for a guy. I do work here for a guy. He was a union instructor for the tile guys, and he has me cut my wire for him too. And he was a union big dog there for a while. Steve Diaz.
Right.
He's an asshole.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's just how it was here. Like all your changes of planes, all your corners, everything has to be wrapped. Always wrapped. You know what I mean?
That's what when I started, everything was wrapped. Everything was wrapped over 4 inches, or you would put a 4-inch strip and cut it and fold, rigid, fold it, and then do that.
And they sell those too. They sell little prefab.
Yeah, they sell prefab corners, right?
Yeah.
The only failed inspection I ever had was a wrapped corner, and that was why.
My failed inspection was I used Aquabar.
But like the lathing inspection, but that goes back to our conversation we had a few weeks ago, Mario, where we were talking about it's localized with the different cities and codes to the cities. But
yeah,
no, I just care.
Some of these areas up north don't even require paper.
Yeah.
Right. That's straight up.
I think Luke Stockton goes right over the drywall, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And I've
seen a couple different posts where guys put up, instead of scratching, put up din shield, don't put paper and scratch or float directly over the din shield. You know, I've never done it, but I've seen a few posts of that.
Yeah, most of our showers here they're hard as fuck to nail off, and the staples don't want to go in because, like you said, they dead shield the showers, and then you go to hang your wire, and if you don't got a duo fast with the thing all the way screwed in, those staples, they're not going to bury in that shit. You don't
use a cordless stapler?
No.
I hang my paper. I use Milwaukee shoots of T50s. It's so much easier.
You don't have enough heat. See, that's the problem. Some guys like to use the hammer tacker. I don't like the hammer tacker. I use the regular duo fast. You know what I mean? But you got to punch it into the wall.
The hammer
every
tacker.
time you set a staple because. Yes, exactly. Right. So I use that deal and bam, 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 bam. But if you don't really hit it with force, that staple's not going to go into the vent shield. You know what I mean? And bite. And so, you got to have a powerful staple gun. You know what I mean? And in my, electric staplers just don't have the gas to, bury the staple in the material.
You guys remember a while ago? I failed my inspection a while ago in Port Hueneme because I used Aquabar paper.
Yeah.
Right.
That's inspector called on that bullshit.
That's all we use is Aquabar.
Yeah, I use black felt a lot too, but if somewhere there's Aquabar, I'll grab Aquabar. But it wasn't a Class D. He let me continue and said, continue at builder's risk. And the builder's like, fucking bury it, bro. It's fucking what we use. Listen.
Ralph got me into the 60-minute. I was using Aquabar forever. And Ralph, seeing his 60-minute, I actually started copying him and using the 60-minute. I like it a lot better.
Too.
Yeah, 60 minutes, you can't go wrong.
I mean,
I like to do paper too. I like to pre-crease my paper, so I'll measure it, lay it out, and that's how you get those flat fucking corners, eh? Boom.
Yeah.
Now here's a wild one for you guys. When you guys are hanging the paper and the wire, this way or vertical?
Horizontal. Yeah, minimum two inch overlap. Cups up, baby.
Oh yeah, that's an automatic, right?
It doesn't matter. Just through physics.
No, fuck yeah, it does.
It does matter. It fucking does.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it does. Over here we hang the paper
spread around, add to one big cup.
Yeah, Fresno County
over there.
Fresno County. Most of the areas I work, like Fresno County, Madera County, Tulare County. All the way up into Sacramento. Yeah, all vertical paper.
I had an old guy tell me a long time ago.
Fabrication.
The reason a lath is 27 by 97 is for that reason.
For the overlap.
25, you can count your overlap. You have your 2-inch minimum overlap for the 27, and it was 97 because it was hung vertical. But I've never hung it vertical. I was taught not to.
Jack Hamilton hangs his vertical.
Yep.
Jack Hamilton is vertical.
Yes.
But the size of the lat, that's, to me, I was told that's what it was. That's why it was.
Yeah,
as I
because
mentioned.
when you just throw it up there, it will the overlap and it'll stud to stud. And a lot of times there's marks like the preferred wire that's made here in Clovis. It's painted red. You know what I mean? So that you know that if you hang it right, those red marks on the wire are where the studs are at. You know what I mean? And if your overlap is done right, it will look right. You know what I mean?
See, but I see a lot of guys just stapling the stucco netting to drywall, and that's it. They don't nail it.
Yep, that's allowed in a lot of areas up here.
I can see it's not gonna. I can see it's good strong once it's floated, but it's not gonna go anywhere. But it seems kind of sketchy.
Oh no, bro. Those are the showers that I like the most because you show up and you get your pry bar on a stud on the top, and
boom.
you peel the left wall, you peel the right wall, push them in. You know, and if you push the wire into the next wall, all the wire snaps. You know what I mean? Then you just take that panel out, take this panel out, pull the back wall down. You're out of there. You know what I mean? It's the heavier gauge wire that was nailed off properly. It's worse to demo than lav because like lav is strong. You know what I mean? And the nail will just pull out of the lav. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A fucking stucco netting is like almost elastic. So you'll be pulling that fucking shower and you got all these fucking wire. You know what I mean? Give me my fucking snits. You know what I mean? So you can snip. Oh, you know what I mean? As you're breaking the loose, that shit don't want to let go, man. It's like
holding that whole motherfucking thing. It's just one little fucking wire.
It's buried. It's buried back there.
One little wire, one little nail.
Fucking half wall up.
Like, fuck you, man. Like, oh, I hate those jobs, man. Like, you get in, and I used to do side jobs and be like, oh yeah, 5-foot tub. You know, we used to do a lot that were like right below the shower head. You know what I mean? Like the tub walls went to just below where the shower head was. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, this ain't gonna be shit. You know, I'm gonna come after work and I'm gonna pull that shower down, throw it in the back of the truck, paper and wire, get it ready for the next day, and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I'll come float it tomorrow, and here I am, fucking 3 hours later, fucking fighting all the wire out of that fucking corner because I got the whole shower down, but all the wire is stuck in those fucking nails in the corner, and you're sitting there just fucking prying them all out, fucking all night. Oh man, I used to get pissed off with that shit, man.
All I know is when I'm putting my shower in, I'm always saying, man, I put it in not to come out.
Yeah.
You know, every one of you said, I hate to be the guy that demos a shower.
Mm-hmm.
No way. Especially with the fucking staples. Sometimes I put staples in the inch staples. I'm gonna use my air compressor, but if I don't bring it out, sometimes I just feel, you know what, I'm just gonna nail it, and I'll just use fucking roofing nails, and I'm just
I've been enjoying my my cordless roof nail gun. That has sped me up so much.
Who makes that?
And it was expensive to buy. It was a DeWalt one. It was expensive to buy, but man, it has sped up my rough end tremendously.
Is that the one that has the long staples and shit?
No, it's a coil roof nail gun.
Okay.
You know, once I put my paper up, I use that and go over, and I mean it speeds things up. I put my lat up. There's no staple. It's just nail it. It's nailed off at that point.
So it shoots roofing nails, the little fucking roofing with the big fat tips.
It goes from like, I want to say 3/4 up to like 2 inch or something like that.
Wow.
You know, and if I'm scratching, which I normally do, I just use 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 whatever I have. I think it's $38 for a complete box, and they last me forever.
How wide is the staple? 3/8?
No, it's not a staple. It's a nail. It's a
roof
nail.
Yeah, I got a nail one, but it's so fucking small. I can't click. It's hard to click.
No, I mean, I got it from Home Depot. I was searching forever, and it took forever to finally get it. And I got a notification one about like 50 miles away, and I took off and got it. And Man, it was a game changer. It sped shit up so much.
Yeah.
So damn
Yeah.
much.
And Antonio, he uses it's an air stapler, right? And it fires this brass staple, you know what I mean? That's like
That's what I
Super
was.
thick.
That's what I was using. But now I don't need my compressor. It's cordless. It's just it is done. It is freaking done. When each piece of wire goes up, it's a done deal. So yeah, it's well worth it. Mine's DeWalt. I don't know who else makes it, but mine's a DeWalt roofing nail gun.
Oh wow.
Right.
Look into that.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's. I mean, I know everybody's different. Like staples, doesn't like staples, have their ways, but man, it works like a champ. And
Yeah, I was
it
using
helps
the
a lot.
almost three big staples, an inch by inch. You know, the fucking on a
Yeah,
staple
yeah. The big,
compressor, and that's what I'm like, fuck. But I go,
Yeah,
that's
no, I would rather have that if they come out with a cordless one, because using
Yeah.
the cordless, it's a game changer. You know, if you're roughing in, it speeds you up tremendously.
Yeah.
yeah. I got a homie here in Fresno, and his name is Arturo, and he roughs in like 3 showers a day. A lot of guys use them. We use them. He charges $300 a shower, right? I think it's $300 a shower. He supplies all the materials. You know, big old rolls. You know, he carries a big old giant roll of pan. He chops up all his mud in the morning, so you see him rolling around, and he's got a mud box full of pre-chopped mud. You know what I mean? And he chops it in the morning during the winter. You know what I mean? Where it'll last all day long. He tries to get as much done in the morning, but he'll come in and man, 2 hours he bangs out a shower, on to the next one, bangs that shower out, drive to another house, bang another one out. And I'm like, bro. He's like, oh yeah, I got 3 lined out today. I can get out to you like at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock and bang out another one. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, man, I am a stupid son of a bitch, man, because all this guy does is rough in fucking showers. I mean, 2, 3 of them a day, 4 of them sometimes. You know what? $300 a shower? I'm like, fuck, bro.
just
You know
paper
what I
and
mean?
wire,
So,
paper wire and scrap.
no, the oh no, we don't fuck around like that over here, bro. Like
Yeah, I'm like, what?
that shit's dry. That shit's drywalled. That shit's
Ralph's
drywalled. You know what I mean?
relocating. Look at this shit. Hey, so Carlo,
You know?
let me ask you, man. You do the pans, the corduroy pans, and all that. And when
Yeah.
I do a hot mop, like I say, I've been switching over to more topical. When you do your folding in the corner, and I'm asking because I'm going to be honest, I'm ignorant to it. It's been 25, maybe 27, 28 years since I've screwed. I think Noble Seal just came out with their blue at the very beginning. That's how long it's been. What do you do in your corners? You fold them. Do you notch? Do you leave a gap on your wood and tuck in? How do you do
No,
your corners?
I
'Cause your
fold
shit's
it.
clean,
You can
dude.
you can literally get a piece of paper right now and fold it. And it's like the inside of a present. You wrap it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I get my glue.
No, I get
You
that, but
glue.
what
The
about your
glue
build
is the
out?
trick. The glue is what holds
Yeah.
it flat.
Glue that corner. That's what makes it tight.
That's the trick. The folding, yeah, but the trick is the glue.
I
Right.
glue it. I
That
get my wood float, and I stick my foot against the wood float in the corner for like a minute. I let it go, and that corner's fucking pretty flat. I don't cut anything except the curb. Where I cut the
No,
curb,
because
it's very minimal.
I've seen guys that are doing you know your style of a pan to where the wood, the backing and all that is notched, there's a little crease, and they're folding it and putting it up in there so they don't have the build out.
right.
Yes,
So that
I've
when they
seen
put their
that.
backer board down into it, but in reality, you're not supposed to get your hardy backer board down into the pan area. You're supposed to stop your hardy backer. Yeah. So where the pan stops, the hardy backer board stops. The
Well,
guys that are
flat.
notching
Your hot
in,
mop-
the
your
guys
hot
that are
mop
notching in, they're putting their hardy backer board down into the pan, and that's a
It's gonna
no-no.
wick.
You
The water's
gotta,
gonna wick up.
you gotta stop the hardy backer board at the pan. And so, and what you do is you just get a little bit of lathe up in there, just enough to hold the mud,
Yeah.
and you float that last little section into the hardy backer board. Because
I know when I started on my own, I had a lot of guys that were making me go over din shield and whatnot before I had the guts to tell them no, you know. And I mean, we all did shit. We were desperate to earn a paycheck at the beginning, you know, and you know, we'd have that gap from hot mop down for me, and I would laugh and wire that flush, and and go on. But like, yeah, one of the cleanest Carlos I've seen on the pans. You know,
Oh,
I mean, hands down. And it's like, might as well ask. I mean, shit, you know, you're here.
Honestly, bro, to me, my whole thing is the more perfect you start with anything, each step gets easier. It's just the better your prep, everything else is easier. The thinner I keep that chloraloid, the less I have to float out the top, because that chloraloid has dimension, especially when it's triple and quadrupled up, you know? Then you got that's your farthest point out. So keep it as flat as you can. I always put it on the back wall because I can afford to have more mud there. I don't want to fuck with the valve wall or my return walls for a CRSP or something, you know? So it always goes on the back wall too.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a CSRP, brother.
Well, you make them look sexy. You and Chris, some of you guys make them. Chris Stover too. Richard
You mean
White.
they're sexy, not shit.
Yeah.
Mario's laughing.
And you know what's funny, Carlo, is you talk about that, and up here, if you like do your shit tight to the drywall, people think it looks cheap. Like all the big players up here, they want their shit big and fucking out from the wall. So like I do granite showers, and those motherfuckers stick out from the wall like a good 1.5 inches. You know what I mean? Like we do, yeah, because you float it and you put the slab, and then you do a DuPont back to the wall or a Cove OG. You know, you put a nice detail on the slab and get that thing back. But I'm telling you, it's like countertop thickness off of the wall.
And I can see that making it look more stout, especially if it's big slabs.
Right.
It just looks, everything's massive.
Right. Yeah. Like, you know, but then you do a shower that's tight with, you know, the surface bullnose flat to the end. And a lot of the people up here, you know, a lot of the wealthier people in the more nicer areas will be like, how come you did it like that? Or did you not float it the way it was supposed to be floated? Or, you know, because I've done flat drywall floats too, where it ties in. Like I used to like to do that with travertine. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the pencils or the chair rails, you know, they're meant to sit flat, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I would scratch the you know, I would do it float tight to the drywall, you know what I mean, on the sides. And I used to get that. People would go, man, it looks nice, but you didn't float the side. Oh, yeah, I floated the sidewalls. You did? Like, yeah, I did. You know what I mean? But they're like, you know, something just kind of seems weird about that to me. It's like, you know, it's just kind of like you say, like down there, people are used to seeing it flat to the wall.
Look at all the foamies. Look at all the foamies. All the foamies. They flush out with the drywall too. All their Schluters, you know, the back gets to the drywall. They don't.
So you like to make people think you're doing foam.
I don't. I also have a little trick.
There is one picture
He fucking
circulating.
on that one. He just stopped it. What? What'd you say?
I also have a little trick for making it flush with 5/8, but I'm not gonna tell you guys about it. So
yeah, but
I'll tell you, Michael.
I'll tell you my trick.
What do you do?
What we know what the easiest thing to do, and I do on a scratch to keep it thin, is you get a level, and I just freaking my scratch, the parts where I'm going to put my strip, I push in and level it off a good 3 inches, maybe into 2 inches, just a little smurf, because I know where my sticks are going to go.
In between the bays, yeah.
Doing that, I set my mud back in. It's almost, I set it to that little 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch difference. Makes me get
nice. It's a world of difference. By the time when it goes up, man, if you're tight at the bottom and your top's out,
and it's a hot mop,
you could have an inch of mud and have nothing down below. Everything.
It's the hot mop.
Yes.
It's the fucking hot mop. If the thinner they are, the better they are for me. Especially.
Yeah, that's why I was asking Carlo about how he gets his corners so tight, because that little bit of an 1/8 inch of a bad fold, it's same like a heavy hot mop from somebody. It's just gonna transfer up and screw.
And that's why I put it on the back wall. Like that's why my folds go on the back wall, you know. And I also use Luan. I use Luan to float my showers.
I was gonna ask you guys. Well, I use Luan as well. What do you use, Ralph?
Luan for what?
Like with the slab guys use template, like door skin material.
Templating strips. That's what I use for flow strips. I use templating strips. I've gone away from I've gone away from 1/4 inch and 3/8.
Yeah.
If it's a bigger wall than like tall wall, then I'll make my own. If it's like a wall, I don't like using a spacer. You know, just one fucking float strip for big walls.
For me, I like the Luan, like the templating strips. You know what I'm talking about, Mario. It like Carlo. Man, they're thinner and
then you pull it, and there's hardly any mud to fill. The rest of the mud doesn't come with it. Usually, it's just fucking nice.
Okay.
And they're thinner, so your mud behind it's a lot truer because you're basically, with as thin as they are, you're pretty much making a hard mud screed to rot off of.
Yeah, and they're kind of disposable though too. I
exactly.
Mine, so.
Well, those float strips. Some of them are thicker than the other ones.
That's gonna say,
save those ones. Don't fuck with those ones. Don't cut them either.
You rolled around in the day with a bucket of various float strip lengths for countertops that you never threw away.
Or legs.
There's all kinds of with fucking nails right hanging out of them and shit. Yeah.
Nails or they're knots for your dado to get your liners, and I'm gonna use that someday.
Oh yeah. And a big old fucking long tube to carry your strips in. And all your
we also used to use masonite strip. We just cut a piece of masonite down, 1/8-inch masonite, make grips of that, and that works good too.
Yeah.
Right.
Thinner the better because it's less build out at the bottom. I don't care.
So when you guys are working tight to the showers, right? When you guys are working tight to the drywall, how are you guys squaring up and staying true there? Or like, a lot of times drywall has bows or it's out of level. Like, how are you adjusting for that? Because like I said, when we're doing our showers, I can pull myself to square. You know what I mean? Because I have that, because I'm building out off the wall anyways. Or like, if this wall's fucking leaning, you know what I mean? It's not problematic to try to plumb the end of the shower where the shower doors go. How
first of all, every shower I go look at, I bring my 6-foot level and I read the wall and I tell the owners, this is what's going on here. If it's way out, this is what's going to happen. If it's perfect, I won't say anything. I usually try if I can leave a grout joint behind my trim, the same grout joint as in the field. Usually, honestly, if it's out, I'll have a drywall guy come out and fucking flush or feather it out with drywall mud or whatever. Because I can't always get it. The walls are low.
Sometimes if you're gonna get a return, then one not a return, so you sometimes you gotta like cheat different ways and make it look. You know what I mean? Just make it look good.
And some guys are gonna trip. I don't square my bathtubs. If there's a ceiling, I'll square it out. But my bathtub, I just fucking keep it as thin as I can and go.
A bathtub, I've never squared a bathtub. I just try to keep the reveal to the lip.
Because you don't gotta tie a shower floor into it, right?
Yeah.
Or a ceiling. If there's a ceiling, but
there's a ceiling, that's a whole different ballgame. But for me, like for Mario's question, is I usually break out before I scratch. I'll put up my laser level, and I'll get a line on each side. And what I'll do is I'll put a piece of tape on the ceiling, and I will plumb that tape down. When I do it. Right. And to be honest with you, of all people, I learned that from Mark Christensen in my numerous side talks and texts from him. He kind of like, I saw him and I questioned him, and it's, beforehand I'll throw my straight edges on the ground, plumb up and take it to the ceiling, and I'll put tape the day before to protect the ceiling, but I'll also use that for my marker.
Yeah, we use that too.
And plumb down from that. For me, that's what works. It takes a couple extra minutes, but usually you can rough in and scratch, and you have a few, hours to kill. I mean, it doesn't take me a whole day to rough in and scratch.
No.
So, and I'll generally, I don't know you guys, but if it's a shower, I personally like to float my pan the day before. It just makes it a lot easier. Depending if I'm doing topical and I still got to put the drain, I won't. But if I have a hot mop, because like I say, I don't use the Chlorolay, I use a hot mop still down here, and I'll protect that pan so I'm not destroying it when I float, because y'all know you rod, it's on the ground and that goes on to the next wall as fast as you can get it onto the next wall and burn it in. So I try to story down, set my height of the drain, and go from there, because everything is done. Like, I don't know, I think I've seen your post, Ralph. You use a story pole. When I do niches, I do all that. Everything is set to a story pole, so I know before I put everything on, I know my elevations, my sides. It may not be optimal. I opt for a functional niche rather than a picture perfect niche. I don't care if I hit joint and I have a perfect tile. I like to give most of my clients shop at Costco and they like the giant bottles. It's not going to go in a 12-inch niche.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I lay it out and try to do biggest equal cuts I can. You know,
That's
at
That's all I
worst.
do. You have to
You
lay it
know?
all out. You lay it all out. You get
Yeah,
the look.
and same with the side to side. Everything's a story pole. Flip it around and you have the other side of it. That's how I get
See,
my elevation.
I also do my pans last. My whole shower will be done, and then I'll bust out the pan and maybe wet set it. So I'm completely out of that shower. That's what I do.
The guys that taught me tile like to do the pan first because of the movement. So that joint was behind your float. Kind of like setting tile on top of your pan. Everything is behind it. So I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. I can't say it's not or it is, but that's how I was taught.
See, I'll set all my walls
it's just
where I want them, and then I'll use my wood float as a gauge under the tile to get my perimeter perfectly level, and I'll slope to the drain after I figure everything out. You know, this last one I did, the tiles were thin, and my wood float wasn't. It was too thick, so I got a redwood float strip. It worked perfect. Just around the perimeter and just sloped it down the drain. It worked perfect.
Yeah, I don't care how it is. I mean, we all get to the same finish line, but we all get there different. You know, just subtly different, but we get there different. You know?
I also tuck my pans under my walls like you're supposed to, everybody.
I like to do that with my my float and I do that with my tile.
You tuck your Carlo on your float?
Yeah, my pebble, I'll tile down and put my pebble up, you know, but I also, for the most part, I'm 50-50 on one piece. I'll throw in sheets and fill in between because I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to hide the lines. Like
my curb sits on top of my outside shower floor. My pan tucks under my walls. I post that there now.
I'm like you, Mike. And what I do is I'll set I make an offset pattern with my pebbles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm not good enough. I'll admit it, I am not good enough to hide sheet lines. There's a lot of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you don't do. Yeah, a lot of guys want to set sheets. You know, like a general pattern. Run your sheets offset. That's a good high production way of disguising the sheet lines. You know what I mean? Because at least you're breaking.
I also do that on my hexagons and octagons.
Right.
I'll half sheet one full, then a half sheet, and then the other ones, because if not, you see that
everything.
It sucks. You can't send your guy out to make me, 10 5 1/4 or whatever. You got to offset it, and it'll hide those sheet lines.
Right.
It's the easiest way for me, anyhow. Unless someone knows something different, they can comment and maybe it'll educate me.
Well, shit, guys, we're pushing on an hour and a half, bros.
All right, thanks for the talk, guys.
Let's good seeing you guys talking, man.
See you guys later.
We're gonna get out. This is. We're gonna keep doing these mud boxes for here into the future. They're not gonna be just for before mud, so we'll get plenty of the opportunity to be chopping it up on here.
Mike, Ralph, Mario, see you guys.
Ralph, hope to see you in Idaho, brother.
All right,
you guys.
I don't know how to leave.